Thank God you're here. Where have you been, bitch? Where have you bloody been? What time is it?
October.
What time did I expect you home?
August.
I'm so bloody sick of this.
So, a few weeks ago, I got into contact with a guy that I hadn't talked to in a while called Stuart. We got talking for a little bit, and I promptly found out he'd spent quarantine playing a cursed game. A game known for absolutely destroying lives, relationships, families, and honestly, generally, completely ruining your sense of self. League of Legends. And of course, me being the absolute smooth brain that I am, I decided to make a video on it. This is just the latest in a series of how I ruined my mental health for a YouTube channel with 35 subscribers. Please click that subscribe button, it's the only thing that validates me anymore. For those of you that don't know me, I have exactly 2 personality traits, one for each brain cell: game developer and commentary channel. I should really pick a struggle. I can't decide which one of those things makes me more of a loser. But I thought I'd combine those 2 things to make a video where I investigate the toxicity within the League of Legends community and where it comes from a game design standpoint. In this essay, I will Most people who play competitively, especially in a ranked setting, will experience toxicity at some point in their life. I wouldn't know, of course. Obviously, all females know is Nintendo, Farmville, Eat Hot Chip and Lie. I, a humble woman, could never play competitive video games. My fragile hands would just shatter at the thought of it. But I do know that League in particular has a very prominent reputation in the gaming community for its toxic fan base. Earlier this year, in February, a survey was conducted with a group of around 3,784 League players. It gave some pretty interesting insights into the demographics behind the game, revealing that most people who play League of Legends were single men under the age of 25. This survey really said League players are all virgins, huh? The main graph I want to look at here though is this one. The blue represents male players and the purple represents female players. And as you can see, only 24% of female and 19% of male players say they've never been harassed. You do some maths on those numbers and that's around 4 in 5 of all players say they have experienced toxicity or harassment post-game or in-game. League players are just masochists, in my opinion. I think they're just into some really deep BDSM shit, and they just do it to hurt themselves. I personally haven't played League that much for that exact reason. I don't like pain. In short, I'm a big pussy. You could pretend to insult me and I'd probably cry like a wee baby. So to really get inside the head of people that play these games, I decided to play for a wee bit with my resident League expert, Stuart. I fucking swear to God, man. Hello.
Forgot my mic was muted. Hello.
Jesus. I think I'm gonna have to reset my password for the 2nd time today. I don't even remember how to play. You're gonna get extremely frustrated at me. I can already see it.
Nah, I don't get frustrated.
I will kill you. I'm not afraid to do it. I'm not gonna lie. I am fucking stupid. I knew he was there as well.
Yeah.
You're all fucking virgins.
Oh, come on. Oh yeah, game. Why can't people just take normal things fucking bot lane? I hate this. Oh, so...
Lux is getting mad.
Yeah, the dialogue of this meta is fucking dog shit for them.
I'm gonna kill Pog and Jeracial with my bare fucking hands.
Oh my god, this Lux is dog shit.
Oh, so basically you're trying to get the Lux pissed off again.
Yeah.
Like...
That is disgusting. Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
Come on, you prick. Come on. Oh, never mind. You're leading me to your jungler, aren't you?
Kiting. Kiting, or cunting, as they call it in the business. Get good, Stuart. Get good. I'm actually going to fucking kill her. I'm gonna dox her, hunt her down, and end her life. That's not a real threat, by the way. The FBI's listening. Lux, don't you dare. Lux. Lux is so bad. Please, for the love of God, can you stop kiting? I'm literally begging.
I'm running bot. I'm going into your tower.
Why?
Nope, that's actually gonna get me banned. Never mind.
Yeah, you would
Oh, wait,
get fucked.
I'm not gonna use this account anymore anyway. What's
We are engaging in toxic behavior right now, have you know?
Yep. Dumbass. I attacked the minion! No! Dog shit!
Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
You're dog shit! Oh, you're fucking terrible!
I'm just I'm memeing on this guy and you're like, why are you even playing Blitz? Fuck! Fuck! I wish you were dead. I wish you were dead and buried in the ground.
Come on, go on that, you bitch.
You know what? Fuck! Fuck! I'm so mad. I fucking hate this game. Hello, woo, League of Legends, ooh, woo, woo, League of Legends. So as you may be able to tell from that obligatory montage of me getting angry, League definitely brings out some deep-seated demons. And to analyse why the design of this game brings out the literal worst in you, we'll have to take a look at how to play the game, first of all. This is going to turn into one of those League ads you see occasionally on YouTube, cue the ukulele music. So what is League of Legends? Well, it's really a glorified game of capture the flag, except with, like, magic and stuff.
You're a
ADC.
I'm a what?
You have 3 lanes, which each have 3 turrets and 1 inhibitor per team. The turrets are there to go pew pew, and the inhibitors spawn minions, or something. Your main aim is to fight your way through the turrets and destroy the enemy team's nexus. Within these 3 lanes, there are very specific roles. You have top, mid, bottom, support, and jungler. And no, none of those are sex analogies because League of Legends players don't know what sex is. Top, mid, and bottom are all damage-based roles. The himbos of this universe, if you will. Support, as the name suggests, supports the bottom lane by healing or boosting damage. And finally, the jungler will spend most of his time in the jungle committing atrocities against the local wildlife and occasionally coming out to murder someone in cold blood. Design-wise, this layout is actually pretty great. There's a reason there's so many MOBAs lying around on the internet. It's got very easy to learn mechanics, but most importantly, it's extremely good at activating your reward pathway, or as idiots like me call it, the brain go buzz buzz pathway. It produces those important motivational chemicals that make you want to keep going. I mean, I haven't felt the gentle touch of serotonin in years, but I know that good games produce it for you. To activate this part of your brain, a game must trick you into thinking you've earned the rewards you're getting, when in reality you're probably sitting in front of your double monitor rainbow keyboard setup, destroying your posture. An example of how League does this well is the gold system. To get new items within a match, you have to get gold, which generates at 1 gold per second regardless of what you're doing, but can be boosted by killing minions and shutting down other players that are doing well. Because of the nature of this shop system, not only are you tricked into thinking you've earned the items you're getting by killing minions regardless of the amount of minion kills, but you're also guaranteed that sweet, sweet injection of dopamine even if you're not doing well, because your gold will continue to go up regardless. I mean, damn dude, even that little animation you get from killing a minion and getting gold from it satisfies your little monkey brain urge to see something shiny. And this is only one example of how League of Legends has a well-designed reward pathway. These little dopamine injections are just scattered everywhere throughout the game. The only issue with your reward pathway is that it stimulates both your dopamine and serotonin receptors, and those chemicals are addictive. Like, really addictive. Slowly, video game addiction is starting to be recognised in the media, and whilst it's nowhere near as bad as how the media likes to portray it, or nearly as bad as real drug addiction, it's still a problem. And I feel that League of Legends is a prime candidate for said addiction. I'll let Stuart explain a little further.
I think League is very much one of the games where the players are subject to the "oh, just play one more game" mentality, because it feels really good to win, right? And you're just like, I wanna end on a win. I wanna end on a good game.
But how bad does it feel?
And that
when
never
you lose?
comes. If you get absolutely fucking stomped, pretty bad. Like if it's a close game, I don't mind. And then also, obviously, on top of that, if people in the game are toxic or are just shit talking, it makes it feel worse. If you were doing like fucking amazing in the game and then you still lose, also pretty annoying.
League of Legends is designed with replayability in mind, meaning it's very easy to spend hours upon hours playing it. And as described in this clip, the highs of winning a game are high, but the lows? They're really low. League of Legends and crack cocaine are starting to sound awfully similar at this point. But what I'm getting at here is, in this aspect, League of Legends has shot itself, or should I say its community, in the foot, by actually being too good of a design. If I kiss up to Riot Games enough, maybe they'll hire me. But realistically, the addiction brought on by the game's rewards combined with the feelings of depression and frustration upon losing a game, which is then amplified by other players being toxic, creates an environment where people will play for hours on end, get tired, then irritable, then toxic. It's a vicious cycle, and that can actually be seen in the matches that I filmed with Stuart. Me and him played for around 6 hours straight, which was a hellscape, if anybody wants to know. But the longer I filmed, I got more and more frustrated until I actually finished the recording session deeply drained and mildly depressed, which left me more prone to toxic behaviour. So this whole section could be summed up by saying, League of Legends is addictive. An addiction is bad. There we go, that's it. Send tweet. Laning is basically what I was referring to in the fake League of Legends sponsorship I did earlier. It assigns each player a specific lane and role. This system ensures every single person on the team contributes to the success of the match, which means that when the team wins, you feel great knowing you've contributed, but when your team does badly, especially if you personally have done trash, you feel a little like the family disappointment. Roles and laning creates a high pressure environment where you and your teammates need to perform to the best of their abilities, since there isn't anyone to cover for you when you do badly. It's a little like being an only child that's been labelled as gifted, except you're not really gifted, you're an idiot that doesn't know what they're doing, but everybody still wants you to behave as if you know what you're doing, and yes, that is a little bit too specific to not be about me. On top of that, everybody has their game preferences. Most people prefer one lane or role, but when you get two people that prefer one role, that's when you get issues. The main game modes you get are ARAM or All Random All Mid, Blind Pick, and Draft Pick Summoner's Rift. And there are some others, but nobody really cares about them. In order of least to most toxic, it probably goes ARAM, Draft Pick, then Blind Pick. ARAM being comparable to a calming day at the beach with your best friend, and Blind Pick being more like a violent argument with your alcoholic uncle at 3 in the morning, which leads to a stabbing, beating, and possibly a war crime. This is actually backed by the survey I referenced earlier, where most people said they played ARAM to chill out after their alcoholic uncle, Blind Pick, has committed a particularly nasty war crime, to continue that metaphor. Damn, my uncle's killed another building full of orphaned children, better go to the beach. The difference in toxicity, in my opinion, is basically down to the tension that arises when you have to coordinate the roles within your team. What I'm saying here is, despite League being a team-based game, you guys are terrible at teamwork. I feel like I need to assign you some team-building exercises or something. Please, for the love of God, just learn to communicate your needs. See, in ARAM, you don't really need that many tactics. Everything's mid lane, and all you really need to do is heavy damage. Since everyone has one agreed role, no one's forced into anything they don't want to be. Drafts is a little less intense than blinds because you get to pick two main roles and you're, on the most part, likely to get one of them. But blinds... well, in blinds you have to fight to the death in the lobby in the space of 60 seconds to decide which role you want to be. And everybody wants to be... to even mention, when you play with more than one lane, there's more than one thing to think about, and therefore more tactics to consider. And our small monkey brains can't handle that much thought because gamer don't know tactic, only racial slurs. The tension created by this simple difference contributes to the orphan bombing, alcoholic, war criminal blind picks we all know and love. Then there's also something that every single MOBA has to some degree. Balancing problems. Whilst League is nowhere near as bad as Smite, it's still got some issues. You'll hear the word balancing a lot, not only from game developers, but also from gamers who don't want to admit that they might not be absolutely godlike in whatever game they're playing. No, Kyle, the game isn't imbalanced. You just missed every single shot you took because you're wank at the game. That being said, game balancing is a thing, and typically, it's a measure of how fair the game is on the player. A perfectly balanced game will feel challenging, but not so hard it feels impossible. As Gamma Sutra, whatever, what this website says. In a poorly balanced game, many of the choices available to the player are essentially rendered useless, since you don't need to use them to win the game, or they don't contribute to the game's function at all. And that's not to say that every single hard game is unbalanced. Take Super Meat Boy, for example. That game, although being extremely difficult, doesn't have anything that's rendered useless by its gameplay. On the other hand, an absolutely perfect example of poor balancing would be Yandere Simulator, where you have all of these functions and nowhere to use them. But I'm sure the game that's been in development for longer than I've been mentally stable and is still broken will be finished and balanced by the end of this year. So, what's the problem with League's balancing? Well, I'll have Stuart explain it because, well, as stated earlier, my fragile hands are incapable of playing competitive games.
So, like, jungle, it would just be entitled little bastards that are like, oh, I wanted to gank and you didn't come up and gank me. Therefore you are a bad person, I hope your mother dies.
I mean, that's reasonable.
Also, ADC right now is just in a really shitty state where the way the meta is that there's a bunch of assassins that are really good.
Right.
So pretty much the meta is you take an assassin mid, you go bot lane, you get kills, you win the game.
So do you think like that power imbalance contributes to people being really, really mad and like...
Yeah,
just...
that definitely doesn't help. But like, I'm gonna say something a bit controversial. I don't think Riot are actually that bad at balancing games.
I don't think that either, because it's hard to balance a game like this. It's just hard to balance a game like this.
Yeah, and they do a pretty good job for how it is. Obviously, whenever like champions come out, they're usually quite broken. That's just because, you know, they're not gonna have like a good sample size to actually test it. Which, I mean, it makes sense. I can forgive them for that.
What Stuart is trying to say here is, by no fault of Riot, MOBAs are extremely difficult to balance due to their online nature preventing thorough testing. And whilst Riot does try their best to balance League, it's borderline impossible for them to do it as soon as a champion is released. So until Riot stops releasing champions altogether, there will always be a champion that will perform badly in comparison to everyone else. Or, alternatively, absolutely squash everything in its path with its big assassiny boots. And what do you do when you feel something is unfair on you? Well, you'll either walk away, or you'll throw all your toys out of your crib and tell the nearest person that their mother should die. Very reasonably, may I add. And finally, a very short section on, well, to put it delicately, gamer culture.
Maybe.
A lot of people flinch away when anyone says the phrase gamer culture, and for good reason. It's often used by people who aren't involved in gaming at all to generalize a whole community as toxic, when there isn't really one single type of gamer. Lots of people, and by lots of people I mean boomers, I'll be honest, think that every person that plays video games is some greaseball, Cheeto dust coated guy that hates women and minorities almost as much as he hates taking baths. And whilst that person does exist somewhere, God forbid I ever meet him, it's not really a universal truth. You know, I won't suddenly stop using soap because I've touched a PlayStation controller. But this toxic version of what a gamer is does come from somewhere, since most stereotypes are exaggerated and demonized versions of actual behaviors. If I had to pinpoint exactly where this stereotype came from, I'd take a look specifically at competitive gaming culture. since for some reason competition seems to reveal some demon side of you that never sees the light of day otherwise. Fuck! You know, you wouldn't get bullied off a server in Minecraft, for example, and if you did, I would be worried for both that server and your mental health. In League particularly, this toxic competitiveness seems to come out when dealing with newbies, or noobs if we want to go into early 2000s terminology.
I don't understand why people will come into blind picks and be like, what the fuck, how could you not know that? Is that a lot of stuff just comes with time. Like, it just comes with time playing.
Why do you think people expect that though as well? I died.
I honestly don't know. I think it's just, to be honest, I think it's just a complete lack of understanding for other people. Like,
You heard it here first. If you're toxic on League, you're a sociopath. Not really, of course, but there is some truth to the apathy you feel for other people when interacting with them over the internet. Humans behave differently when they feel as though they're anonymous, often more in outlandish, immoral, or frankly nasty ways, and when in high pressure situations, they're also more likely to act out. So this combination creates the toxic part of gamer culture that the media enjoys stereotyping. And because of the cycle of toxicity breeding toxicity, a culture of angry and, to be honest, downright mean people has been created in League, and there's no real way to stop it without breaking the cycle. In conclusion, League's cultural toxicity problems are complicated, and there's no simple solution to them. I bet you're glad you sat through all of that for that non-conclusion. Since the root of the problem lies in unchangeable things like fundamental design concepts, balancing, and the culture of the game, there's nothing really that we can do. But to be honest, I think we all already knew that. All we can really do as individuals is be nice to the next person you see struggling, and, well, try not to be an asshole. But let's face it, that's not gonna happen. At the end of the day, League's design has set you up to be an angry, spiteful, and toxic person. And maybe that's okay. Maybe we need somewhere to be toxic sometimes. But that's all I really have to say on the topic. Thanks for watching this video all the way through. Remember to like, subscribe, and feel free to comment if you think of anything else. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!